The ultimatum. The massive Arcadian warships appeared without warning, materializing above Earth's atmosphere like metal leviathans against the blue sky. Their sleek obsidian hulls reflected sunlight in brilliant flashes as they positioned themselves over major population centers. Panic erupted globally as the first transmissions reached Earth's communication networks. "People of Terra," the message began, appearing simultaneously on every screen worldwide. "Your world has been claimed by the Arcadian Empire. You have 24 Earth hours to surrender all governmental control and natural resources. Resistance will result in planetary sterilization." In the Pentagon's underground command center, General Marcus Rivera stared at the tactical display showing more than 30 Arcadian vessels in high orbit. His weathered face remained stoic, but his eyes betrayed his concern. "How many civilians have we evacuated to the shelters?" he asked. Colonel Jessica Alvarez checked her tablet. "Approximately 62% of urban population, sir. Rural areas are at 38% and climbing." Rivera nodded. "And Project Threshold?" "Dr. Chen reports they're ready," Alvarez replied, her voice dropping to just above a whisper despite the secure room. "She's requesting authorization to deploy." For 50 years, humanity had prepared for this day in absolute secrecy. While the world's attention focused on conventional military development, climate change, and political conflicts, a hidden consortium of scientists had been working toward a single goal: survival against an extraterrestrial threat. "Get Dr. Chen on the line," Rivera ordered. The main screen flickered before displaying the face of Commander Elena Chen, once the world's leading quantum physicist before disappearing from public view 15 years ago. Her laboratory's location was known to fewer than 20 people on the planet. "General," she acknowledged with a curt nod. "I assume our visitors have made their intentions clear." "They have, Doctor. The President has authorized Threshold Protocol. You have full operational control." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "We've been preparing for this moment since I was a graduate student. The network is active and functioning at optimal capacity. All orbital platforms are online. And you're certain the Arcadians can't detect them?" Rivera asked. "Their sensors are based on conventional physics. Our quantum mesh exists partially outside normal spacetime. They can't see what doesn't fully exist in their reality." The general took a deep breath. "Then let's send our response." At the United Nations emergency session, world leaders gathered in grim silence as screens displayed the Arcadian ultimatum counting down. Secretary General Okafor stood at the podium, addressing the assembled representatives. "Distinguished colleagues, the fate of our world hangs in the balance. For generations, we've feared this moment. First contact with a hostile advanced civilization. But we are not defenseless." Murmurs spread through the chamber as Okafor continued. "For 50 years, our nations have secretly cooperated on Project Threshold, developing technologies beyond what the public knows exists." "Commander Chen." The large screen behind Okafor changed to show Elena Chen standing in a vast underground facility filled with equipment that looked more like science fiction than reality. "Representatives of Earth," Chen began, "the Arcadian Empire believes us to be primitive, barely capable of interplanetary travel. This misconception has been deliberately cultivated. While publicly we struggled with basic rocket technology, in secret we've made quantum leaps in physics, artificial intelligence, and nanotechnology." The screen displayed a network of invisible satellites orbiting Earth, completely undetectable by conventional means. "Our quantum defense grid can neutralize any weapon the Arcadians possess," Chen explained. "Their technology, while advanced, follows predictable scientific principles. We've studied their ships for years using probes they never detected. We understand their weaknesses." The Secretary General returned to the podium. "We will not surrender. Instead, we will issue our own ultimatum." Admiral Xor of the Arcadian Imperial Fleet observed Earth from the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. His chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the blue lighting as he studied the primitive world below. "Another simple conquest," he remarked to his second-in-command, Vice Admiral Kren. These humans still fight among themselves over resources and territory. They haven't even established permanent colonies beyond their moon. Their military capabilities are negligible, Kren confirmed. Nuclear weapons and chemical propellants. No energy shields, no faster-than-light travel, no quantum technology. Soar's mandibles clicked in amusement. The Emperor will be pleased to add another resource-rich world to the... Admiral, interrupted the communications officer, we're receiving a response from the humans. Put it on the main display. Soar ordered, expecting to see trembling human officials announcing their surrender. Instead, the screen showed a calm, collected Asian woman in what appeared to be a military uniform. Admiral Soar of the Arcadian Empire, she began. I am Commander Elena Chen of Earth's Unified Defense Command. We decline your offer of surrender. Instead, we propose an alternative. You have 6 hours to leave our solar system, or we will be forced to demonstrate our defensive capabilities. Stunned silence fell over the bridge before Xor burst into laughter, a harsh chittering sound that echoed through the command center. They decline, he asked incredulously. Contact the human again. When Commander Chen's face reappeared, Xor leaned forward. Human, perhaps you misunderstand your situation. One of our destroyers could reduce your largest cities to ash within minutes. You have no defenses against our technology. Chen smiled. We understand perfectly, Admiral, and you have grossly underestimated humanity. 6 hours. The transmission ended abruptly. Xor turned to his weapons officer. Target their largest military installation. This Pentagon their broadcasts mention. Fire a single plasma torpedo. Let's educate these humans on the reality of their situation. The massive warship's main cannon charge, a brilliant blue energy building within its circular maw. With a blinding flash, the plasma torpedo launched toward Earth, aimed directly at Washington, D.C. On monitors throughout the ship, the crew watched eagerly for the explosion that would begin another successful conquest. Instead, the plasma bolt simply vanished upon entering Earth's atmosphere. No impact, no explosion, nothing. Weapons malfunction. Xor demanded. Negative, Admiral. The weapons officer replied, checking her systems. The torpedo functioned perfectly until it reached Earth's atmosphere, then disappeared. Impossible. Fire again, full barrage. Target their 10 largest cities simultaneously. 10 plasma torpedoes streaked toward Earth, each capable of leveling a metropolis. As before, they simply vanished upon reaching the atmosphere. An alarm suddenly blared through the ship. Admiral, the sensor officer called out, we're detecting unknown devices attaching to our hull. The main screen shifted to an external view. Tiny metallic objects, barely visible against the dark hull, swarmed across the surface of the Eternal Dominion. What are they? Xor demanded. Before anyone could answer, systems throughout the ship began failing. Weapons, engines, shields, all went offline in cascading failure. Admiral, the communications officer called out, we're being hailed by the humans. Commander Chen's face appeared once more, now wearing an expression of calm confidence. Admiral Xor, what you're experiencing is our nanite defense system. Currently, they're only disabling your offensive capabilities. We could just as easily have them dismantle your ships at the molecular level. Xor's compound eyes widened in shock. This is impossible. Your species doesn't possess this level of technology. We've been monitoring Earth for decades. Yes, Chen nodded, and we've been aware of your monitoring. Everything you observed was exactly what we wanted you to see. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in the heart of Project Threshold's command center, Elena Chen sat surrounded by holographic displays showing every Arcadian vessel now effectively neutralized. Around her, hundreds of scientists and military personnel monitored the nanite swarms that had rendered the alien armada powerless. Nanite containment at 97% efficiency, reported Dr. Raj Patel, her chief engineer. All Arcadian weapons systems neutralized. Chen addressed the alien admiral again. For generations, the Arcadian Empire has conquered developing worlds, harvesting resources, and enslaving populations. You expected Earth to be another easy conquest. You were wrong. She leaned forward, her voice hardening. 5 hours and 22 minutes remain in your evacuation window. Admiral, I suggest you use them wisely. As the transmission ended, General Rivera approached Chen's station. You think they'll retreat? Chen's eyes remained fixed on the displays showing the disabled alien fleet. No, their empire spans hundreds of worlds. Their entire civilization is built on conquest and domination. They can't comprehend defeat, especially not by a species they consider primitive. Then what happens when the deadline expires? Chen's expression remained impassive. Then we show them exactly what humanity is capable of when threatened with extinction. The Reckoning. Admiral Xor paced the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, his chitinous legs clicking against the metallic floor. The ship's emergency systems provided minimal power, but weapons, shields, and engines remained offline. Similar reports came in from every vessel in the fleet. How? He demanded for the 100th time. How did they develop this technology without our knowledge? Vice Admiral Kren's antennae twitched nervously. The logical conclusion is that they detected our observation posts and created a deliberate deception. Impossible, Xor insisted. Our stealth technology is perfect. Evidently not, Kren replied quietly. The humans have quantum technology far beyond what we believed possible for their development stage. Xor stopped pacing. Contact the Imperial fleet. Request reinforcements. Communications are limited to short range only. The communications officer reported. The nanites have disabled our quantum transmitters. Admiral, Kren suggested, perhaps we should consider complying with their demand to leave the system. We can return with a larger force once we understand their technology better. Xor's mandibles clicked in agitation. Retreat. Before a pre-FTL civilization, the Emperor would have my carapace mounted in the Hall of Failures. He turned to his science officer. These nanites, can we neutralize them? We're attempting to generate an electromagnetic pulse, the officer replied. But these aren't standard nanites. They appear to shift partially out of phase with normal matter, making conventional countermeasures ineffective. Time remaining in the human ultimatum? Xor asked. 2 hours, 17 minutes. Xor's compound eyes narrowed. Prepare the Omega Protocol. Kren's antennae stood rigid in shock. Admiral, the Omega Protocol is only authorized for extinction-level events. And that's exactly what we're facing. Xor snapped. If word spreads that a primitive world defeated an Imperial fleet, rebellions will erupt across the Empire. Every subjugated species will believe they can challenge us. He turned to his executive officer. Begin Omega Protocol preparations. We may not have weapons, but we still have our antimatter cores. In the Threshold Command Center, Dr. Patel's voice cut through the controlled chaos. Commander, we're detecting power surges in the Arcadian ship's central cores. Chen frowned, studying the readings. They're overloading their antimatter containment fields. They're planning to detonate their power cores. If all 30 ships explode simultaneously in low orbit, General Rivera began. The electromagnetic pulse would disable our technology, and the radiation would make Earth uninhabitable for generations. Chen finished. Exactly the kind of spiteful last resort I expected from them. She turned to her communications officer. Open a channel to the Arcadian flagship. Admiral Xor's alien features appeared on screen. Commander Chen, have you reconsidered your position? Admiral, our sensors indicate you're preparing to detonate your antimatter cores. I'm contacting you as a courtesy to inform you that this will not work. Xor's mandibles twitched. You're bluffing. Not even your advanced technology could survive 30 antimatter detonations. Chen's expression remained calm. We don't need to survive them, because they won't happen. At the start of this encounter, Our nanites didn't just disable your weapons, they also established quantum entanglement with your antimatter containment systems. She pressed a button, and a holographic display appeared beside her, showing the interior schematics of the Arcadian vessels. We can neutralize your antimatter at the subatomic level before detonation. Tor's compound eyes widened. That's theoretically impossible. For Arcadian science, perhaps, Chen replied. Your empire has grown complacent, Admiral. Conquest made innovation unnecessary. While you've spent centuries perfecting weapons to subjugate less advanced species, we've been quietly revolutionizing our understanding of physics. She leaned forward. 1 hour remains in your evacuation window. After ending the transmission, Chen turned to Rivera. Time to reveal our final surprise, General. Rivera nodded. I'll notify Orbital Command to deploy the Sentinel fleet. Far beyond Mars' orbit, hidden in the asteroid belt, massive hangar doors opened within what appeared to be ordinary asteroids. From these concealed bases emerged vessels unlike anything publicly known to exist, sleek, angular ships with no visible propulsion systems, their hulls composed of a material that absorbed rather than reflected light. Admiral Xor stared in disbelief at the sensor readings. Impossible. They have a fleet, hidden in their asteroid belt. The tactical display showed dozens of Earth vessels emerging from concealment, surrounding the disabled Arcadian armada. Admiral, the sensor officer reported, these ships have no heat signatures, no conventional propulsion emissions. They appear to be using some form of spatial distortion for movement. Human vessels approaching, Admiral, Kren reported. They'll reach our position in 3 minutes. Xor slumped into his command chair. For the first time in his long military career, he faced not just defeat but complete humiliation. The communications officer spoke up. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the lead human vessel. The screen displayed a human male in a dark uniform with silver insignia. This is Admiral James Okonkwo of the Earth Defense Force. Your time has expired, Admiral Xor. We will now escort your vessels out of our solar system. And if we refuse? Xor asked, though he already knew the answer. Then we will dismantle your vessels molecule by molecule, starting with life support systems. Okonkwo replied matter-of-factly. Commander Chen was being merciful. I am not inclined to such generosity. The human ships surrounded the Arcadian fleet, their strange drives creating visible distortions in space around them. Admiral, Kren whispered, sensors detect weapons capacitors charging on the human vessels. Their energy readings are beyond anything in our database. Xor closed his inner eyelids briefly, a gesture of resignation in his species. Signal the fleet. Prepare for emergency departure using reserve power. As the crippled Arcadian ships limped away from Earth under escort by the human fleet, Commander Elena Chen and General Rivera watched from Threshold Command. How long before the Emperor sends another fleet? Rivera asked. They won't, Chen replied with certainty. At least, not as conquerors. Our quantum probes are already deploying throughout Arcadian space. Their military and governmental communications are now an open book to us. She walked to a larger display showing a galactic map with dozens of highlighted worlds. More importantly, we've identified 27 other species under Arcadian occupation who could become valuable allies. Rivera studied the map. You're suggesting we liberate them. I'm suggesting we offer them the same technology we use today. The Arcadian Empire has stood for 1,000 years through fear and technological superiority. We've proven both to be false currencies. Chen turned to face the general. Humanity spent 50 years preparing for this day, developing technologies centuries beyond what even we believed possible. We did it not just to survive, but to thrive. And now? Rivera asked. Chen smiled. Now we take our place in the galactic community, not as conquerors like the Arcadians, but as liberators. The universe is about to discover that humanity doesn't just endure threats. We end them. As Earth's quantum fleet escorted the defeated Arcadian ships past the orbit of Neptune, Humanity's message spread among the stars. A new power had emerged, one that would no longer tolerate the subjugation of intelligent species. The age of the Arcadian Empire was ending. The age of humanity had just begun.